They're literally holding on to these fucking stupid people and not letting them get access to extra information, not letting them get access to... Your mods forgot to ping the Discord that you're live and I just joined now, Lamau. Wait, really? I doubt it. There's always a server announcement. I think it's automated. Oh shit, maybe there wasn't one. What the fuck? I'm looking at the server announcements. Is like, wait, where's, oh, it's Hasanabi updates, isn't it? Not server announcements. No, there is. Oh yeah, there isn't one today. That's crazy. I was wondering what happened to the fucking view counts. Here, I'll post it right now. Well, no, Yas is doing it. Do it, Yas. Post it. I thought that one chatter in the beginning of the broadcast was lying when they said we don't have, we didn't get a Discord noti today. That's crazy, bro. I post on every platform and motherfuckers still don't know. Like some people exclusively rely on Discord, I guess. Announcement 3 hours in. Okay, everyone's popping off with reactions to the announcement. Why would anybody need a server announcement when you're live every day? I don't know, dude. People do. Let's see if it leads to a blip in people. Let's see if it leads to a blip in people actually logging on. That's what people want you to post on Blue Sky too. For what it's worth, some people just only use one platform and don't see the blast offs. Yeah. Yeah, it did. 400 people instantly joined, by the way, which is crazy. As soon as that announcement took place, 400 people joined. That is fucking psychotic. That there were at least 400 people in the fucking Discord that were just like, oh, I guess Hassan's not live today. And they needed to see a ping to be like, oh, it's 500 now. That is crazy. Y'all are fucking cavemen. I swear to God. That is wild. Yeah, it's a bot. It's supposed to be a bot normally. Wow. Anyway, right now we're watching Slop Tube and Weaponize Ignorance. How Careless Coverage Hurts by friend of the show, Overzealots. You got Maya telling his impromptu chat voice. Do you tell your guests anything? No, I don't. Now we're up to 600. Discord ping has brought in 600 new viewers. That is crazy. 3 hours in. It's called Slop Tube and Weaponize Ignorance by one of my new favorite accounts, Overzealots. Friend of the show, Overzealots, came out with another banger. Oh my God, there's literally more people that are online in my Discord server right now than there are in this chat. That's crazy. That's probably the total number of haters. There's the people that used to be Hasanabi heads who now fucking are anti-Hasanabi head. Anyway.
In their chase for clicks and relevance, their audience is left with a hodge.
This is such a perfect demonstration of how idiotic information basically goes from the mouth of a drama slop tuber who doesn't know any better or wants to exercise a petty vengeance quest or an agenda that they have to the minds of some of the most brain broken apolitical people who we need as allies. You laugh at these people, but you need stupid people to build a movement. You can't just have a movement of smart people, okay? This is something that I talk about all the fucking time. You need the dummies. And the problem is there's literally this human wall in front of all the dummies. It's like a dam built by the Keemstar orbiters of the fucking world, the drama slop tubers of the fucking world that are holding on to all the dummies and trying to keep them within this reactionary framework, whether by design or inadvertently. It doesn't even matter. They're literally holding on to these fucking stupid people and not letting them get access to extra information, not letting them get access to, what is this? You are worse than this for sure. It's not complicated at all. Jews are ruining society, running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be in prison for the most part. Fixing these issues will grant us a utopia, according to Nick J. Fuentes. Yeah. Like this dude, when you think personally that person and I are on the same wavelength in radicalism, you've lost your fucking mind, right? You've lost your mind. You have no politics. You might as well be a fucking Nazi at that point. You know what I mean? You just think that like these are just opinions that exist out there. These are opinions that exist and some people have them and then there is no impact of ideology. There's no impact of the perspectives at all. It's just simply how much you deviate from the mean. That is the only thing you care about. Whether or not something deviates from what you consider to be normal politics is the only thing you care about. That's a real problem for a lot of apolitical dummies who want to appear as though they are smart without ever actually having to do any reading whatsoever, without ever actually having to think at all about these things, about politics, about what political ideologies look like, what those, what if implemented, what society would look like. The only way that you look to someone like myself who believes that, especially in the short term, like not even in the long term, let's look at it. Let's look at the difference in opinion between someone like Nick Fuentes and someone like myself in the short term, and then maybe even in the long term. In the short term, I believe that we need to get universal health care, that we need to nationalize our extraction industries and ensure that we are focusing back on, we're focusing all of our efforts in R&D into some of the problems born out of anthropogenic climate change. The revenue streams that come from the extraction industry becoming nationalized will yield tremendous bounties for the American population. I'm an anti-imperialist. In the short term, I believe that we need to severely de-escalate military conflicts around the world, right? I see the military as a jobs program, and we have plenty of issues in here on the domestic front, and plenty of issues globally as well. The military should be a business or a government body that focuses on building bridges and shit rather than blowing up bridges and killing children, right? Like, these are the types of things that I believe both in the short term and in the long term. Can you imagine what society would look like if these attitudes were, if more people had these sorts of attitudes, and if these opinions were reflected broadly across society and our politicians actually followed on those promises? Free college, free healthcare, free education across the board, free housing for those who need it. Like, these are the types of things. These are the radical positions that I have. And then on the other side, you have, and that is certainly my opinion. I'm not going to lie to you, is radical. It is radical as opposed to what the mean currently looks like, unfortunately. But that is more so, in my opinion, damning for where society actually is. It is by no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society. We are living in a sick society, right? So on that front, I will admit that I am far away from the rational center, right? It's not so rational, but the center. Now, on the other side, you have a guy who is anti-miscegenation, white supremacist, Holocaust denier, constantly says like Jews run everything in this country, all this stuff, right? In the short term, what he wants to do is mass deportations of anyone and everyone who is not white. So even in his short-term goals, short-term goals, if implemented, which by the way, unfortunately, just the way right-wing politics works, the way neo-Nazi politics works, especially because it's not disruptive to the pre-existing hierarchies of capitalism especially, you will see a lot more politicians resemble Nick Fuentes' outlook, like Donald Trump is doing right now, by the way, as opposed to politicians on the left, on the ostensible duopoly where the Democrats are the left. You're not going to see a lot of politicians that have my worldview. So tell me how I am just as damaging the public discourse as a guy like that. The reason why people say that is because they are conditioned into defending the center, no matter how far that center is shifted to the right. That's it. People want to sound smart, and a lot of these people, I think, a lot of these content creators in general that present themselves as apolitical, that simply care about the drama, are basically building an intellectual dam around what they perceive is good politics, reasonable politics. They're not doing it, most likely they're not doing it on purpose. Some of them are reactionary. Some of them do say slurs and all this other shit, but others are simply doing it because there's a lot of clout to be had, because the algorithm does back, alt-centrist and alt-right types of opinions. So they see that, they see the, the resentment, and dollar signs start popping up in front of their eyes, and they dive into it. That's it. Like, why do you think XQC has completely done a fucking 180-degree pivot on what his worldview used to look like? He was never like the most woke or the most well-read when it comes to political ideology. But why? Why did XQC become like an Asmongold dick rider, for example? Why did Asmongold become what he is now? Because they saw the dollar signs. They saw the fucking clout and relevance you can gain. Because one of the major platforms, aside from Facebook, a platform that at least young people still do use, like Twitter, became a neo-Nazi shithole. And in that process, that started impacting other platforms and their algorithms as well. And that's it. For a lot of these people, they have no real beliefs. They have no core beliefs that guide them. They have no moral compass that guides them. They just simply want to shoot the shit and watch the money go up. Watch the viewership number go up. That's it. It's not about money for XCC either. to be fair. It's about relevance, it's about acceptance. For a lot of people, they don't fucking think about politics. They don't think about politics as a real way to change the world. They think about politics as a way to be accepted. Okay, that's their attitude towards politics, is like, I want to be a part of an in-group. I want to be able to have a lot of people that watch me and say I'm smart. Do you understand? That's what it is for a lot of these guys. It sounds silly when you think about it, but that's all this is.
These three people are in no way.
Bro, this is perfect because it's like all three different ideologies, okay? You got right-winger with Asmongold. You got Mudahar that's supposed to be the apolitical centrist. And you have Ethan who's supposed to be the liberal, okay? Three different political ideologies demonstrated, and yet the outcome is going to be the exact same. Now, I didn't watch this video. It just came out. But it's really interesting how a lot of the slop focus... A lot of that slop focus basically turns you into this this vehicle for a very specific type of content.
Please don't say that the Jews' voice for peace are akin to capos.
Made a disturbing remark about Aaron Bush.
What's crazy is, like, he's done that since too. He did this with Sam Cedar, comparing Sam Cedar to Candace Owens. Like, he doesn't understand that comparison is not apt. Like, he genuinely doesn't understand that. Either he doesn't understand that comparison is not apt. Like, he thinks it's a good way to undermine the argument. He thinks it's a good way to undermine the argument by saying, well, you can have a marginal group of people that support any cause, but like when you make that comparison, you're basically saying that the morality is similar. You're not able to simply tackle the concept of you're using a tiny marginal group to advance a certain cause, unless you do truly believe that they're capos, unless you truly do believe that Sam Cedar would be the Candace Owens of like being an anti-Zionist.
Not to put this uncouth, but
yeah, he thinks he's just saying that a minority can be dead wrong. He doesn't understand it's literally an accusation. Exactly. Yeah, he backed away from calling Sam Cedar Candace Owens and then said Blair White instead, which again is the same, but this time now the Candace Owens for trans people. What? He doesn't make arguments based on the truth. He makes arguments based on their potential utility to the point he wants to wish cast into existence. Yeah. So I do in a weird way understand why he like can't comprehend why people yell at him when he says stuff like this, right? When he says, when he makes that comparison, he's like, well, I don't understand. Like, why are you saying that? I'm just simply making a point that like a tiny marginal group does not broadly reflect the entire group. They can have crazy opinions, right? Like, I get that is the argument that he's trying to make to undermine the position that I'm presenting. But when you make this comparison, you are saying that they are in the wrong because your position is that they are wrong.
Pro-Palestinian advocates.
Damn, this is such a short but concise way to describe like the last year and a half of the Ethan Klein broadcast is crazy. It's just kind of funny that he's wearing a Teddy Fresh t-shirt that is made in a Chinese manufacturing facility while also actively shitting on China regularly, and even Mao. Without Mao, there is no Teddy Fresh, okay? That should be, oh my God, that's the new song. This is what's the song? Without Mao, there is no modern China, or without the Communist Party, there would be no new China. But instead, without the Communist Party, there would be no Teddy Fresh. That's what they should be singing. Not an E-fan, but you just did the just curious, but you live in a society meme, but for China. Dude, this is not a you live in a society meme. He actively shits on China on a regular basis, including their manufacturing practices while literally manufacturing from China. Could you imagine? Like, here's the difference. I fucking criticize I criticize American manufacturing moving to China. I do. I like China. I think China has done a tremendous amount of development, uplifted 800 million people out of extreme poverty. That is incredible. That is an incredibly impressive feat. Part of that was because of the endless profit-seeking attitude of capital owners here in the United States of America. I can recognize that. But what do? I criticize the fact that capital owners have moved manufacturing overseas. What do I do when I make merchandise? I make it in the United States of America with unionized labor. Okay? Imagine messaging a creator who uses American union labor to create merch to say it's not their fault they have to manufacture in China. Yeah, exactly. That's what that chatter did. You live in a society meme doesn't work in that sense, especially when you're a fucking YouTuber as well. When you're a YouTuber, like it's not your, your major moneymaker. It's not supposed to be your major moneymaker to begin with, the merchandising side. You just want higher profit margins. That's it. But your merch takes over a month to ship. Yeah, sucks to suck, dude. What do you want to do? If you want American-made, union-made shit, it's going to take some time, okay? That, I think, makes it better. The weight makes it worth more. What are you on about? You can criticize China and wear their clothes. I can wear Bangladeshi jeans and still criticize neocolonialism. Dog, I don't think you're understanding this. You are not making the jeans. That is the difference. Hello, you are not making the jeans. You are not making the jeans. If you were like, oh man, neocolonialism is really fucked up, and then you turned around and manufactured jeans as a jeans provider from a manufacturing hub in Bangladesh that uses child labor, then yeah, it would be a little hypocritical. Here, let me reverse the roles for you. Okay? If I, for example, oh, this guy's Mao was an upper class sociopath who hated the peasants and the workers and used them as if they were disposable. Okay, there's the truth. There it is. There we go. Thank you for not letting me go down this route and openly revealing what your position was on the matter. Yeah, you just don't like Mao. Got it. Okay, fine. That's fine. That's okay. But if we're having a conversation around, like, you know, hypocrisy, not perceived hypocrisy, but like actual hypocrisy, imagine if I, for example, socialist Hassan Abi Piker, was manufacturing in China. How would that make you feel? Mao was not a socialist or a communist. He was a feudal elite defending feudalism. There is 0% chance I have a 41-month subscriber that is unironically saying this. I'm making fun of the show. Oh, thank God. I was about to say, that's the one thing that, like, there are plenty of valid and warranted criticisms about Mao or the Cultural Revolution or Chinese development, okay? Even with looking at where China is now as opposed to where it was, right? There's going to be a lot of pain and a lot of struggle along the way, and there certainly was. But to say that, you know, he's secretly pro-feudalism is hilarious. That's the one thing you can't say. As a matter of fact, part of the reason why China is at the place that it's at is because he was not that. And it played a major role in him gaining popularity and turning people to his side, because the peasant class was desperate for changes and did not want fucking landlords to exchange hands from one colonial rulership to the nationalist party. Anyway, but that's besides the point.